So here I have the La Jefa taco. It's one of my favorite tacos because it seems simple. It's 2 sauces, tomatillo and morita, queso fresco, and a corn tortilla. That's all it is. But all these flavors, once you bite into them and they merge in your mouth and they start bouncing off each other, it really is eye-opening. And I think that's what food should be. Simple food done right is the most delicious there is. That's why I love it. I've been lucky enough I had the opportunity to be on MasterChef, and then that opened up the doors to a lot of invitations, which is something I really enjoy and I love to do. So from time to time, restaurants, bars, cooks and chefs in other cities will invite me to come out. Matt and I, who helps me a lot in these pop-ups, we have all of our portable stuff. So we have these little burners and we just set up, and our goal is always to do everything as fresh and as close to order as possible, no matter where we are. I'm gracious enough that people invite me out to these things because they're a lot of fun. So I started cooking when I was 10 or 11, and that was in my mom's kitchen because she would have me help her out to get dinner ready. I actually thought it was kind of boring and terrible, but then the older I got and the more dishes I was learning, it started becoming more of a means of expression. And then when I was finishing high school, it's always that debate, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? And what pushed me towards food was just the simple idea that it's that Hispanic culture again, that you're a man, you're gonna be the head of a household someday, you gotta provide for your family. And I said, people will always eat, people will always be hungry, so there's gonna be a kitchen that always needs help. And I decided to go to culinary school here in Houston at the Art Institute, and then I graduated and I worked in the industry for about 10 to 11 years. Just different kitchens around Houston. So sadly, I burned out on the restaurant industry, just the hours, the schedules, always working holidays, never seeing family, which family for me is a huge thing. So I left, I decided to become a high school teacher, but then that food, I missed having it a role in my life. So after like my 3rd year of teaching, I had the whole summer off, and I was like, well, what can I do to kind of still cook, but the way I want to. So then one day I was like, oh, I've never tried making flour tortillas. It's something I love, but I've never tried making them. So I took a day to just try out different recipes and kind of mix and match until I found one that I like. And I was like, I'm gonna invite some people over for tacos. The reaction that it was just friends had to, sitting down, eating tortillas right off the comal, reminded me of my childhood when I lived in Mexico and the cenadurias. So when families open up their homes maybe 3 nights out of the week, 4 nights out of the week, just to make some extra income. And they'll have like 3 or 4 dishes that they're offering. And people from the neighborhood, they just come and they eat, and you're sitting with all your neighbors and you're chatting. And so those were some of my favorite memories. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to recreate that. So this is where the idea of the taco tastings began. We're trying to share that experience that I had as a kid with as many people as are willing to come. It's a weird thing because people are hesitant to come to a stranger's house. But the people that have been able to put that barrier aside, they always walk away saying, this is something that we're glad we did, even though we were hesitant about it, because it's a different kind of experience. It's so much more intimate. And that's what I love. It's not, I'm going to a restaurant. It's like I'm going to someone's house and they're cooking for me. All right, so this one's called Fojitas. Long story between this one. Okay, so when I moved to the States, I was 7. And there's a lot of things I had to learn about Tex-Mex culture. Flour tortillas are something I learned here because in the state of Mexico that my family and I are from, corn is king. So I didn't try a flour tortilla until I moved to Texas. So I had to learn that there was Mexican food and there was Tex-Mex food, 2 completely different. I mean, they share some common ingredients, but they're completely so different. Yeah, so this is kind of like my play on all that. Fajitas in Spanish is the term because the cow has the skirt steak. and it seems like one of those fajas that you put around your belly to make them hard. And because they're cut in little strips, that's why they call them fajitas. Okay. But then they started coming out with chicken fajitas. I was like, chickens don't have that same cut. It's breast. It's chicken breast. They're trying to fool me, but they won't. So I take all those ideas, and I'm like, I use chicken thigh, because chicken thigh is way more flavorful. But it's all the flavors. It's roasted bell peppers, lime, chicken, flour tortillas, and butter. So it's like my homage to me understanding Tex-Mex food. My mom has played a huge role in every aspect of my life. The person I am today is because of her and her upbringing, and played a huge role in my cooking as well. And a lot of the dishes and inspiration are kind of trying to recreate the things that she made for me. And even to this day, she continues to help me. She's the one pressing and rolling the tortillas for the taco tastings, and then she helps me with the cleanup and everything. So I couldn't ask for anything, a better person to support me and guide me through this whole process. So this one's been on previous menus, and it's called El Clásico, the classic, because it's some combinations you just don't mess with, and chorizo and papas is one of those. So it's flour tortilla, chorizo, papas, a little bit of that tomatillo salsa y'all had earlier, some crema and cilantro, and those all naturally work together. So enjoy this last taco. I love tacos for a variety of reasons. It's just who I am. It's the food that I ate growing up, so there's definitely a lot of memory attached to tacos. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of people that spring up in my mind when I think of tacos. It's that food that triggers memories. It's my connection to my culture. I immigrated to the States when I was 7. And part of the immigrant story, which I thought was unique to myself until I started reading other immigrant experiences, is that for a while you come into your new nation, whatever it is. For me, it happened to be the U.S. And you go through this period where you want to engulf your new culture, and you kind of push aside your roots. But then there's always a moment in every immigrant story that I've read and I've experienced where there's a reclaiming or a retaking back of where you came from. And for me, that was, that comes through food. And taco is just that staple of, it's associated with Mexican culture. Yeah, there's the classic fillings, al pastor, asada, chorizo, and those are staples that will live on forever. But you can take this combination of a tortilla and a variety of filling and toppings and just go anywhere in the world with it. So I really like how it molds itself to different cultures and different cuisines. So yeah, it seems, everyone's trying to take tacos in, and I have mixed feelings about it. I really do. I think it's really cool to see something that is associated with a Hispanic culture be embraced by so many people around the world. And I love to see what other people do with it, because like I said, one of the things I love about it is the versatility that I never thought about Korean flavors in a taco, but it works. I hate the fact that people would associate tacos with easy and cheap dining. That's something I have an issue with, and that just stems from, decades and decades of politics and imperialism and stuff like that, where ethnic cuisines, Indian, Mexican, Chinese, they're seen as value cuisines. You go to Chinese and Indian buffets, and you can get tacos for 99 cents on the street corner, or something you can splurge on when you're after a drunken night and stuff like that. And that's what I have an issue with, that tacos become synonymous with this easy access, and people don't stop to think, and some do and some know what it takes to make it. Some people don't stop to think the history and techniques that come behind this dish. To make the right tortilla, I mean I don't think I've perfected the tortilla. What I do, yeah, they taste good, but it's never what I taste when I go to Mexico. I guess it comes down to, if you're doing this because you appreciate the taco and you're trying to make it your own and take it forward, I applaud that. But if you're looking at tacos as a way to kind of capture a trend or something that's popular right now and make your money and kind of go on with it, then that's when I have issues. When you're just like, I'm gonna just throw something together because people are liking it right now, then yeah, I wouldn't be about that.
to 10 for me?
10, 9, 8, 6, 7, 5.
The letter Z.
1, 2, 3,
Hashtag.
4, 5, 6.
You're good.
I'm
You're
good.
good. You're fine. Just stop.
Man, that mimosa was really strong.